Hello, in this video we are going to discuss screen capture and how to get images from a website. The first and easiest step is to download an image from a web page. To do this, let's open a browser and navigate, for instance, to the website of the Polytechnic University of Valencia. Notice that I put myself on this image, I give the right button, and I can save the image directly as, or copy it, and then paste it into a viewer. There are instances where it seems like an image, but it's not directly loaded as one. It's rather loaded in the background. When I right-click, you'll notice that I can't save it as an image. It shows Save As, but it refers to the entire web page. Therefore, we'll need to explore other strategies, which I'll explain to you now. Here, for example, is an image that contains a link. After right-clicking, we have the options Save As, or Copy Image. We can even copy the address of the image in case we don't want to use it in another web page without having to save it ourselves. Next is how to get an image from an image a little more difficult. For instance, this image appears when we hover over a link, but there's no direct way, as you can see, to obtain it. However, there's a trick involving the browser's functions using the right click. In this case, Chrome has the inspect element, and other browsers offer similar options. We access and retrieve the page's code, which might appear quite complex. Once in the code, we've already selected the specific element we want, this one. We tell it to deploy it, and inside all the attributes of the element we can see the address of the image. When we locate ESRC, we right-click and select Open in a new tab, and voila, here's the image. Now, with the right-click, we can easily save or copy the image, as I mentioned earlier. Now let's proceed to capturing the entire screen. In Windows, to capture the entire screen, we use the print screen key, which captures everything, including this part below. Alternatively, if we press Alt plus print screen, it captures only the active window. For instance, if I press print screen now and then navigate to Microsoft Paint in Accessories. Here you see it if I say Ctrl+V to copy. As you can see, it has copied the whole screen, including the bar below. I will press Ctrl+Z to undo. Now I am going to do it with Alt print screen. And I go back to Paint. Ctrl+V, and as you can see, it only pasted the active window. It has not pasted the bar below. Instead of Paint, I'd recommend using another tool. One important tip. If what you want to capture doesn't fit on the screen, you can use Ctrl+ and Ctrl- in the browser. This will zoom in or out, allowing you to adjust the page size for capturing specific content. While the entire page might not make much sense, adjusting with Ctrl+ and Ctrl- will help you capture precisely what you need. As I was telling you, instead of using the tool of the Windows, I use a viewer that is called IrfanView. That is this one. We are going to go from 0, we are going to search for the term IrfanView on Google, and it will appear in the search results. On this page, what we'll do is download it. We download it from one of these. We also look that there is the IrfanView, but then there are also the plugins. I've already downloaded them. Down here, I've downloaded them. Just a couple of clicks, and you can download them too. Here's the IrfanView, and here are the plugins. Run them, and you'll have the program installed. The program. See if it lets me. Let's see, just a moment. I'm going to clear everything from the desktop, and here we've installed an icon. Here it is, IrfanView. Here, using Ctrl and V, we can paste the screen we captured. Picture this. I click the left mouse button and create a window. And I take what I want, and with this, what I can do is cut using Ctrl+Y. Well, one important thing is that up here, IrfanView shows me the exact pixel size of the window and the aspect ratio. This is particularly useful when we're cutting a piece of an image to paste it elsewhere, because if we don't make an exact square, we might deform the image we want to insert. Now, I'll show you an example. Here, using Ctrl+Y, as I was saying, we're left only with what's inside the window. Ctrl+Z. We return backwards. There is also a quite important thing, that is that inside the menu of edition, it seems that the editing menu is gone. In the editing menu we have Show Paint Dialog, which is the F12 key. I usually use the F12 key for this, but on this computer we'll do it differently. Here we can choose the colors we want, like red, from this color palette. And the fill color is also red. For instance, we use the circle tool to select and highlight this. Is the line too thin? Use Ctrl+Z to undo. Here we navigate to the line width and set it to 5, for instance. And we return. As you can observe, I'll zoom in a bit for better visibility. This functionality proves handy for annotating, say, a screenshot where we need to highlight specific elements. Besides, there are additional tools at our disposal. We can delete, fill, or insert text, making this a potent editing tool. Now, about the resizing tools I wanted to highlight, for instance, using D allows us to erase all the contents. Imagine that we want to do the following. We aim to create a logo sized at 300 by 300 pixels, extracted from a screenshot within a video for its construction. We start from, we've seen before here, for example, the screenshot of this image. Let's go here. As I have explained to you, and we have this image that we're going to capture, let's press the right mouse button. We copy the image and proceed to IrfanView. We press Ctrl and V. All right. We already have the image. The specific dimensions we need for this image are exactly 300 by 300. So, with this image we've captured, we currently have 2 windows of the same one opened. I'll minimize this one to avoid confusion. Here it is. It measures 320 by 180, which doesn't match the required specifications. We navigate to Image, and we instruct it to rescale the image to a width of 300 pixels. So, currently, we have an image of 300 by 169. While the size has changed, the aspect ratio remains the same. However, we aim for it to measure 300 in length, while it currently measures 169. Let's proceed by using the calculator. We subtract 300 minus 169 equals 131. We need to add this downward. Let's go here. Then, we use the change canvas size function, which involves enlarging it without adding anything to the right side of the screen. On the left side, we leave it blank, as well as the top part. And as for the bottom section, the bottom one, we have to put 131. Here we put 131. It's black, I don't like it, so I press Ctrl+Z and I do it again. Then I specify that the color to be used is white. For example, like this. I now have a graphic that measures 300 by 300. Perfect for placing my Polytechnic University label. How do I go about it? I'll utilize the tools I mentioned earlier. Here I have a graphic which measures 300 by 115, and I'll insert it at the bottom. What's next? I use the left mouse button. I'll enlarge it and verify that the window above shows the chart measuring 300 by 115. I press Ctrl+C to copy. I'm going to my other window where I created the space. I made a mistake. Ctrl+Z to undo. To proceed, you need to disable. The painting options first. Let me disable it now, and then we can return to create the windows here. Do you see? I'll drag it using the left button to the top. So now it measures 300 wide and 67 high. I'll place this at the bottom of the entire height from top to bottom. And I'll continue moving this upward until it measures 115. It's reaching 108 here. I'm holding down the left mouse button and moving the cursor upwards. I've created the space. No, it's 116. Let me adjust it to precisely 115. Now I'll use Ctrl+V to paste the image that I had. I already have the little square that I wanted, and I can now with File. Save as, adjust its quality as needed, and save it in JPG format or any other available options we have. And with that, we've completed the content for this video.